Hey everybody, good morning. Welcome to the LPTV. It's nice I can just read it down there now. LPTV Disney Morning Show with Kyle and Doobie. Over there is Kyle. He is the managing editor of Laughing Place. Right here is Doobie, the co-founder of A Laughing Place. And we're going to talk to you about what's going on in the world of Disney. My apologies for being an hour late with today's show. We will blame that on a combination of the transit system of Northern California plus the traffic of Northern California. Just don't blame me. All right, we're going to get started the way we do. You haven't even spoken yet. Hey, Kyle.
Hello.
All right, we're going to get started the way we do every day with this. All right, so it's Kyle's job to guess the stock price within a margin that I determine on the spot. Today's margin is 92 cents.
Okay. What was it yesterday?
No, that's not something we keep track of anymore.
We don't see. Okay. Well, I feel like 84 and a quarter.
84 and a quarter. It is 84.41. Kyle.
Yeah.
Not even close. Stock is basically flat, so it is well above the crater. They're not cratering anymore, but hopefully better days are ahead, one way or another. Hey, Steven, how you doing? Next up, is Ethan ready? Yeah, next hour.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Good morning and welcome to another LP Disney weather report. Lying in my bed, I hear the clock tick and think of you. Caught up in circles, confusion is nothing new. Flashback, warm nights, almost left behind. Suitcase of memories. Time after, sometimes you picture me. I'm walking too far ahead. You're calling to me. I can't hear what you've said. Then you say, go slow and I fall behind. The second hand unwinds. If you're lost you can look and you will find me. Time after time. If you fall, I will catch you. I'll be waiting. Time after time. Let's get to the weather. Anaheim will be sunny with a high of 94 today. While all eyes are still on Hurricane Idalia, today, Walt Disney World will just be a bit rainy in the afternoon into the evening. Those showers will also cool them off from a high of 94 to temps in the mid-80s. Castaway Cay will be partly cloudy today and barely break 90 degrees. However, that will still feel like 107 due to high humidity. Disneyland Paris is cooling from the current 68 to 59 in the last few hours of the night while enjoying partly cloudy skies. Tokyo will be partly cloudy tomorrow and will likely stay dry. They'll get to a high of 91 for a real feel of 104. Showers will move into the Shanghai area overnight and will likely stick around into the evening. This will keep the high to a moderate 76 degrees. Lastly, Hong Kong could see a pop-up storm in the afternoon but will otherwise stay dry. They'll also stop shy of a triple-digit heat index tomorrow. That's it for today's LP weather report. But remember, it's 3 Show Tuesdays, so ring the bell for notifications and check back on Laughing Place throughout the day. Bye for now.
Beautiful rendition there. I wish. How cool would it have been if Ethan somehow did like harmony with himself at the time? That would have been shocking.
I have an idea for that, but it would not. We'll try it sometime, maybe.
Okay. Bryce coming. Hello, Genie Plus Plus. Hello, Orange Grove 55. Evil Queen. Joining us from Florida. Hope you are safe out there. That is, of course, our first story today, Hurricane Idalia, which Ethan just gave us an update on. It does not seem to be, well, what is the latest that you're aware of in terms of the storm itself, Kyle?
The latest I'm aware of, it's still projected to strengthen, but it's definitely more north than it was before. So it'll hit like in that little curve around the panhandle and then kind of go across. So as far as Walt Disney World impacts, it looks hopefully pretty minimal at this point. In fact, one of the updates they gave this morning is that for those staying at Fort Wilderness, they basically just said bring in your stuff, like don't leave stuff out, which to me signals that they're not really planning to. If people want to leave early or want to be relocated, it sounds like they can do that, but it doesn't seem like they're anticipating all that much at this time.
From the past, we've seen Fort Wilderness as kind of the canary in the coal mine. That's always the first thing they close, obviously, because they're outdoors. And no closures, just asking that as of 6 p.m. today, you bring in those awnings, bring in your tents, everything like that. So stuff doesn't blow around, but they're not even closing it. They did, though.
This can always change.
Currently, things are definitely always in flux, but that is the current request. They did change the cancellation policy for anyone with stays from August 28th, which was yesterday, through September 4th, can cancel their stay without penalty, which is, a nice thing, because there can't even, obviously, people don't necessarily want to go in a hurricane. There also can be transportation issues, like the Tampa airport has been closed. So nice that they do that.
Commercial operations.
These commercial operations. And then they also, which is a very cool thing, they have a 50% discount tonight, tomorrow, and the next day for evacuees and first responders. So we do have an article on that. If you are in that situation, you don't necessarily book the normal way. So let me go ahead and give you a link to that article in the chat if you want to go check it out and get information on how you would go about booking those if you're a first responder or an evacuee and you want to stay at Disney World for a 50% discount. Orange Grove went to Disney World for the first time this past July. So Floridians, what time of year does the humidity stop? It does, actually. In January, February, it's pretty light. It's pretty light. Those are our dry. That's our dry. I'm not there anymore, but I used to live there and will again. That's our dry season, January, February, and that's when the humidity kind of stops and the cold actually comes in. It gets pretty cold in Florida for a day or two, believe it or not.
Not even a day or two, maybe at night.
Another kind of a thing I never even thought about, but another byproduct of the weather, Kyle.
So because of the, sorry, I was finding some breaking news. Because of the storm, mostly because of optics, because this was pre-recorded, they are pushing the delay, the premiere of the Disney Treasure. They're supposed to do a special live, a live premiere video that they're going to kind of share more about the treasure. That's been postponed a week, so that'll happen on September 5th at 11 a.m. Eastern. And I think this makes sense. Kind of last minute. It was supposed to take place tomorrow, but I think it's a good move that they are taking that.
We've got breaking news, and it's not a poster.
Yeah, can you read it for me? Because I didn't actually read it. I just saw enough to know that it was important.
So this literally just happened. So this is the reading thing. This was posted on the Disney Parks blog. The title is "New Haunted Mansion Grounds Expansion Retail Shop Coming to Disneyland Resort in 2024" by Kelsey Lynch, Public Relations Director, Disneyland Resort. The stately grounds of Haunted Mansion will expand with the spirited metamorphoses at Disneyland Resort next year. In 2024, the additions will build on the story and lore of the Haunted Mansion and include an expanded outdoor queue to immerse guests and enhance theming, as well as a new retail shop adjacent to the attraction's exit. Doobie's parenthetical. Disney World has a Haunted Mansion retail shop, you may know, so nice to see Disneyland getting one. I will continue from the article. Local legend suggests the manor known today as the Haunted Mansion was built by a prosperous sea captain. To this day, the mansion staff faithfully maintains the happy haunting grounds. The expanded queue will tie into these stories and more, including new gardens inspired by Master Gracie, Madame Yoda, and the One-Eyed Cat. Here, let me get a different image up for this next section. Each of these gardens will feature unique elements ranging from a water fountain and gazebo to themed statuary and landscaping. In fact, guests will be able to see a new greenhouse where the groundskeepers for the Haunted Mansion grow their plants. The pet cemetery and horse-drawn funeral hearse will continue to reside on the attraction's grounds. Once again, get a new image for you. And speaking of on the attraction, yes. And speaking of Madame Yoda, we felt it was time to continue her presence beyond the walls of the Haunted Mansion with an all-new retail shop, which was actually the previous picture. So let's go back there. This carriage house of the mansion belonging to Yoda will be a standalone shop that we are just dying to tell you more about in the future. And then now let's go back to here. We will also make enhancements to the plaza adjacent to Tiana's Palace. This area is one that holds a lot of memories and history, and a new elegant park-like setting will be a place to relax and enjoy the ambience and live entertainment under the shade of new and historic trees. Construction on these additions will begin in January 2024. We will take the opportunity to help improve the accessibility of these areas, which includes a new elevator exit from the Haunted Mansion for guests with disabilities. Wow, no more going up the stretch room, I guess. We look forward to sharing more about the final arrangements early next year. For now, consider this dismaying observation. The objects found in Leota's garden will be inspired by her incantation. Wow, this is like really exciting.
That is actually surprisingly exciting news. Yeah, like it's like, okay, cool, they're building a better queue. And I'm like, yeah, no, that queue does get hot and annoying. Especially during, oh my gosh, during Haunted Mansion Holiday, those lines are
Oh, get
brutal.
very large.
So this
So,
looks great.
yeah, a new
No
queue, and
complaints so
then
far.
a new shop right at the exit where yeah, right next to between I want to say Splash Mountain, between Haunted Mansion and Tiana's Value Adventure, and then new grounds. Wow, wow, this is real news. How cool! And you know, it used to be one of the coolest things in the world to be able to go up the stretch room if you are in the disability situation. But I guess they're actually building a new elevator, so that won't be needed anymore. So excitement at the Haunted Mansion. Construction starts next year. Never a dull moment at the Disneyland Resort. I feel like. I wonder what. Seriously, I wonder why they announced this now instead of in a week and a half at Destination D.
I think maybe the fact that it's West Coast has something to do with it, or maybe they'll have some other Haunted Mansion related announcements there that they didn't want to muddy. But yeah, I don't know why. I just feel like even though it is all the Disney parks, I feel like they want to keep it a little bit more East Coast centric with that.
Okay.
I don't know. Or maybe this is a small announcement compared to what they're going to announce. They didn't want to get dirty. How about that?
That's what I'm hoping. Also interesting, there was no mention of the movie or tying in to the movie or anything like that in this announcement. So
now this ride is its own franchise.
It is, for sure. It sparked 3 movies. All right, let's get back to our regular.
Just year-round merch lines. I feel like every couple of weeks there's another Haunted Mansion merch line.
I'm so happy the Haunted Mansion is getting a permanent merch shop of its own right next to the mansion, just like Disney World has. They have one of their own right next to the mansion. I feel like right now it kind of spills into the rest of New Orleans Square next to Pirates and those shops over there. So this is really cool, really exciting.
Do you think we were talking about this one time? I think maybe during Parks Talk or barely. Is there another attraction that's had more merchandise created for the attraction specifically than Haunted Mansion? Because I think it by a wide margin has to be number one.
I can't even imagine what would be close.
Yeah.
I mean, Pirates is very popular, but merchandise-wise, not even close. Epcot as a whole is like the only real thing I can think of, but it's not an attraction; it's a whole park. But even with that, I don't think it approaches Haunted Mansion, to be honest. So yeah, I think Haunted Mansion far and away. You've been to the national parks? Is the merchandise for Mansion, Duffy maybe, is the merchandise for Mansion as popular around the world?
I mean, I think more recently Disneyland Paris has done some stuff, and I think they did a few different attractions, and I think that the Phantom Manor is probably one of the most sought after. So yeah, I don't think it's quite as much, but yeah, domestically. And I mean, you also have 2 different versions to pull from, whether you want to, which theme you want to go towards in terms of like the exterior and things like that.
Yeah, good point. Wow, I'm excited to have some good, happy news. It's not even an attraction, but it feels like it.
It's the wait to get the attraction is.
I'll be 100% honest. I'm more excited about that announcement than the next new attraction we're about to talk about.
Okay, fair enough.
And that would be a new first look coming from Disney this time at Journey of Water, inspired by Moana. Let's take a look on Twitter. X.
Just outstanding acting on the.
And I did not mean that as a slam at Journey of the Water. I'm just happy to be more excited about Haunted Mansion, which is my all-time favorite, 2 or 3 all-time favorite Disney attractions. So anything in that first look we've had a lot of first looks at this attraction, but anything in that one in
That's what
particular?
Becca was doing our social this morning, and she was like, "So is this a first look? Because we've had looks before." I was like, "Yeah, just say new look. That's fine." First video look, I think officially maybe of the actual working attraction, but yeah, yeah, this is a very interesting rollout for this attraction. Lots of cast previews, and then they had the media play testing, and yeah, interesting rollout, but it's getting close. It'll be fun. Yeah, we're talking about being excited for the queue additions to Haunted Mansion. Well, this entire attraction is a queue, basically. So
Exactly. The attraction is a queue. Another first look, the Disneyland Hotel, if you all know, because you guys are well versed in these things, has a new villa opening on September 28th, DVC Villa. And yesterday they gave us a look at the artwork, a new mural that is going to be there, which is kind of reminiscent of the Golden Books. Kyle, what do you think of this?
yeah, there's apparently a bunch of hidden Mickeys in it. I didn't look that closely at it. You can also download it as a wallpaper now if you go to Disney Parks blog. Saw that announcement. I was like, wait, did we completely miss the point of this article? Oh, no, it is real. It's a real mural, but they're just releasing a wallpaper version of it as well. But yeah, no, this is fun. You'll see a bunch of, actually classic. Like, I feel like this does a pretty good job. It's very definitely some recency bias in it, but there are some like actual classics as opposed to some of the things they brought back at theaters where it's like, oh, okay, everything from 89 forward is what counts now. But no, I really like this art, and I imagine that they'll be selling prints of it, and I'm sure it'll sell pretty well.
I'm just trying to find a single hidden Mickey. I'm so bad at that, and I don't see a single one.
I thought that's what it said. Maybe one in the lily pads down there by Tiana.
There probably is. I'm just really, really bad at this.
I'm circling with my mouse if you could see it. Yeah, I think so. I think that probably counts.
Okay, all right. So we found one. We'll consider
maybe the trees. Does that count as another upside down one? By Snow.
Let's see. Up by Snow White.
Yeah, the trees above her head.
I could find Snow White. She's my favorite princess.
She's in the middle.
And I can't find Mickey. I can't find Snow White. This is not a. Okay, maybe that. You know what? That could be a hidden Mickey. I'll give you that. That was once again Doobie before looking, Doobie after looking. Crossfire starring Doobie before and after.
Doobie and Doobie in a bow tie.
So the villa opens September 28th. And that artwork is by Lorelei Beauvais, is how I pronounce that. She was an associate production designer on Encanto. She's from Spain. And I like that quite a bit. Want to see the full version of it come September 12th. 28th. Let's see what else we got here. Tony Betty. I always like to talk about Tony Betty stuff here because, as he knows, he is my absolute 100% favorite person in the world. He did a cool article, all the references and maybe even clues of the Big City Greens season 4 poster. Season 4 for Big City Greens is coming shortly. We did an article on that. It is coming September.
It's on the
September 23rd.
September 23rd. You did it.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm searching the article for the word September, and there it is right on the poster. So he actually kind of deconstructs this poster and goes through and tries to get some clues and some Easter eggs and such. And it's quite an extensive article. So if you're a Big City Green fan, and I know we actually have a lot of Big City Green fans that read our website, you will want to go check that out. Let's see. I just got some more breaking news from Benji. I wonder what this is. Oh, okay. Is this a big number? Shake your head if that's a big. Nod your head if that's a big number. Okay.
It's on. It's on
Nielsen ratings,
but under Obi-Wan.
Okay. The Nielsen ratings are in for Ahsoka's premiere. Do they still call them Nielsen's, Benji? No. Ahsoka draws 14 million views for her first episode, which is almost
how
as
many
much
watched the second since it came out at the same time.
I believe this is on par with one of the Mr. Beast videos. So Congratulations to
Yeah,
Star
the
Wars.
first day of a Mr. Beast video.
That'll blow your mind if you really think about it. I wonder how much. So again, put that in context, Kyle.
From what I read, it's about the same as Andor, but is below Obi-Wan, which makes sense. Obi-Wan had a lot more casual viewers that were like, "Hey, I know that guy. He's from that thing." Whereas Ahsoka, it's a little bit more of she's the orange bird of Star Wars.
I would love if they had broken this down, like the first 6 hours. How many people watched this compared to when it debuted at midnight? I don't know how they would break it down, but I really like to know how well that worked out for them. So
I did watch it. I don't know if I told you that.
What do you think?
I liked it. I do. I know Benji. I could see what he was talking about. So we can light spoilers here. When she's turning those things, I'm like, yeah, I guess you don't need to see her turn every single one of them. Like, you get the idea. You can kind of speed through the rest. But it didn't bother me. Maybe because I was just sitting in my bed drinking coffee on a Saturday morning, whereas he's sitting in a dark theater at the end of the day, and so it's going to get to you a little bit more. That's my assessment. I actually am wearing an Ahsoka ring that I purchased, so no, I don't hate Ahsoka. I just thought it was an apt comparison for a moment there.
I saw Ahsoka too. Did I? Oh, so I've actually seen Ahsoka now. I saw it twice on my own, which is useless. But then I finally saw it with Rebecca, and so now I feel like I've really seen Ahsoka. It's really, I liked it a lot.
And
it's a good show.
I know that you'll get a lot more out of it if you've seen Clone Wars and specifically Rebels, but I've only seen one episode of Rebels and I can follow it just fine. I guess I do have an advantage of knowing that the characters are from that, but I don't think it really makes that much of a difference.
I don't think so. I mean, I'm sure I'm missing out on stuff as a result, but I'm able to follow it.
I also did. I thought it was clever the way that they're like found a way to show the animated versions of them.
How?
They had like a mural. And it was like a dedication to them, so it's basically their from the show.
I remember that part. I've never seen Rebels at all, so I did not make that connection. That's really, really clever. I love the characters in this so much. Honestly, Ahsoka is one of my least favorite of the bunch, but Sabine, Hera, both of those I love a lot. The characters so far are making it for me, and really looking forward to seeing the next episode.
No one is ever on that highway though. Sabine just like owns it. Sabine.
Although that reminded me so much of the opening of the Star Trek reboot, the 2009 Star Trek reboot, until we get introduced to Captain Kirk. It reminded me of that too much, but maybe that's just me. Anyway, Ahsoka, episode 3 tonight, 6 p.m. Check it out. Join the 14 million
6
who
p.m.
enjoyed
Pacific,
the first one.
9 p.m.
Chopper is not everyone's new favorite droid. I disagree with you there.
Yeah, he's okay.
I don't have much droid love. I don't get the infatuation with droids. Okay, the internet's new favorite. Fair enough. I do not wish to be a part of the internet. All right, so that's Big City Greens.
Check the Joppa. That's why people like him.
Maybe Tower of Terror has a lot of merchandise on par with Haunted Mansion. Maybe
that's a good thought, because if you include the fact that it's the same name in all the parks that it's in, that helps. But yes, this is some new Tower of Terror merchandise. They're working on some Phantom Manor stuff too. These are close look at stuff coming to Disneyland Paris. So they're making some attraction-specific mercance. So yeah, it's a fun little look at what they got going on. Disneyland Paris, as we talked about yesterday, lots of news from them yesterday, and this was the least important of it, but still pretty cool.
Do their artists really just sit around with their pin lanyards on while they're designing and working? Is that really how it works?
Sure. Yeah, it's kind of a rule, just in case they take a tour and someone wants to trade pins with them. You never know.
Secretaries come in, do some pin trading. So lots of new attraction merchandise in Paris. Haunted Mansion, in Disney World, Tower of Terror also had its own shop. Oh, Disneyland too, back when it was Tower of Terror, had its own shop right there at the exit. What took Haunted Mansion so long? Conundrum. All right. Disneyland Resort has some new plant-based menu items. And I just want to talk about that because I am a partially plant-based eater as a vegetarian. So I want to make sure these do well. Please go eat them.
What's in that? It looks good.
That first one is a, that's a burrito, yes. A soy chorizo breakfast burrito.
That's what I thought.
And
I'm a sucker for chorizo.
We've got a sesame ginger vegetable noodles.
Have you heard the joke about, soy milk or soy chorizo?
No.
Oh, well, if you could accidentally buy it at the grocery store because you just thought it was saying, I am chorizo in Spanish.
Funny. Very funny. Curry Royale, Queen of Hearts Delight. That one's a little interesting. Or we've got here the Sopas de Chorizo con Papas. I'm kind of proud of how I said that. And finally, we've got the plant-based chorizo quesadilla. So if you are a fan of
chorizo,
plant-based chorizo, this is the place for you. I'm happy for plant-based chorizo. I just want it to be made with real cheese. Plant-based cheese, I can't quite get on board with. So,
I don't know if I've had plant-based cheese, but I agree with you in principle.
I've tried it several times. I've yet to have one that I can stomach. So it's like when they want to go toward the vegetarians, they go all the way to the plant-based, which I fully understand.
So I've often gone to restaurants and got a Beyond or an Impossible Burger and added real cheese to it. So.
Oh, totally. Yeah. All right. I think that's it for our news stories. Anything I missed? Anybody? Before we get on to our regular things, and then we will close out the show with a discussion of Claim to Fame. We do that last, so if you
give time
don't want to be spoiled,
to punch out since he hasn't watched yet.
But we're not quite there to Claim to Fame yet. We're going to do some pocket picks, this day in Disney history. We'll recap our top story today, which broke right in the midst of this, and then we'll get into Claim to Fame. So let's see. We'll hold that one for right now. But thanks, Ben. Let's get into the pocket picks. This one comes to us all.
Did you mute yourself or something?
Sorry, TikTok's such a pain. Okay. All the way from Kansas City, Missouri, i.e. Geo. I assume it's Kansas City, Missouri. It could be Kansas City, Kansas, for all I know. I just know it's Kansas City. Posted by @DisneyParks. A good follow on TikTok. That's what dreams are made of. That was just perfect. You know, I'm going to go off on a little tangent here.
Sure.
Oh, Mike Mack almost sent that to us. I can fully understand if you are not a Disney adult. I cannot understand the hatred that some people have of Disney adults. There, my tangent's over. Next up.
A little preaching to the choir, I think, but sure.
I know we are, but I've been reading a website lately. Why am I torturing myself? I don't know, where people just rail on Disney adults.
Is it SFgate?
I'm not going to say what it is. It's not that, but I don't understand why. I don't understand. I just don't understand. If it makes people happy, it's good, clean fun. It's not harmful. I don't understand. You're not better than me just because you don't like Disney.
I thought you were using the bumper as a segue, but instead you just used it as a comma.
I want that as a t-shirt. I thought you were using it as a segue. Instead, you're using it as a comma. On this day in 1964.
Oh, so you played the wrong intro then, is what happened.
Did I really? Here we go. On this day in 1964, I'm so perturbed by this Disney adult thing. On this day in 1964, they really rip on people who love the characters. Like, it's just a person in a suit, right? Yes, I know it's a person in a suit. So the heck what? You know that movie you love so much? That's not really John McClane. He's just an actor.
Yeah.
1964, Mary Poppins. You're absolutely correct. Congratulations, Kyle. 1 for 1. All right. On this day in 1998, a Disney Channel original movie came out, which yesterday I learned is a loose adaptation of Hans, what is it? Whatever in the Silver Skates. Hans Christensen and the Silver Skates. Whatever the name of that movie is. That book is, rather.
Silver Skates. Okay. So it's not
1998 DCOM. Fun fact about this DCOM, when Disney Plus came around, I'm like, I'm going to try to watch as many of these old movies as I can. This is the only one that I watched.
Brink.
You got it. It's a fun fact. Give it to you.
No, I was trying to think of what the name. I was like, it's something that's like I was thinking like Zoinks or something. I'm like, no, and then I got it.
Brink. Oh, Hans Brink. So I wrote in my notes Hans Brink and the Silver Skates, and like, that doesn't sound right. So then I totally screwed up. Hans Brinker and the Silver Skates, which is how well read I am. Thank you very much. Some people take it too far with the characters. I will admit that. The big news today that broke in the midst of this.
Those are the only two things?
Yeah, that's all I got. It was a very, very quiet day.
Okay.
Yesterday we had like 42, and today we've got like that. As we talked about earlier today, there was some great breaking news. It's not on our website now. It will be very soon, but you can also read it on the Disney Parks blog. And that is the Haunted Mansion at Disneyland is going to have a grounds expansion and a new retail shop coming. Construction starts in January. They're adding a shop at the exit. Seems to Madam Ota. I'm not even going to. The shop at the exit, they're going to change the grounds around it. They're also going to change the queue. And again, this is on the Disney Parks blog now. We'll have it on our site with as much additional info and contextual stuff as we can very, very soon. So it's exciting. All right, that takes care of the main part of our show. And now comes Kyle and I's final discussion of our current favorite reality show, Claim to Fame, which had its final 2 episodes air last night, and we have a Claim to Fame champion.
We do,
Kyle.
and I'm happy with it. Let me hold on. Let me. I can't take that one. I can take this one.
Oh, there you go. Claim to Fame spoilers coming up.
Yeah. I'm happy with the, looking back, I think the first 2 seasons, you can point to a well-placed lie in the very first episode that threw the other players off so much that it took them a long time to catch up. And for Elsie last season, I was thinking that her relative was a man when it was a woman. And in this one, it was that everyone thought the sports thing, the football player, was legit and didn't even think in the right thing. But then also when you look back at it, it wasn't, the winner didn't win because their celebrity relative was more obscure or niche or whatever. It was because he won the most challenges. He played a great game. And also he was probably the funniest part of the entire show. Like his talking heads did a lot of heavy lifting on this season. So I am glad Gabriel won. I'm glad they finally figured out that Donald.
I'm not glad. I'm not. That was the most shocking moment in the history of television when they're sitting there trying to figure it out and they're picturing themselves in the 70s with their bell-bottom stuff. And he goes, "Who are you listening to?" "The Osmond Brothers." "Well, where did you get that from? How do you know who the Osmond Brothers are? You didn't know who they were the past
They
months."
might have edited it before. He always, because he's also the one that came up with Joseph. Like, I feel like maybe he knew something and it was editing. But no, that was great. Them realizing that Monet, whatever her real name is, looks exactly like JB Smoove was also fantastic.
Looking at the profile right now, and that forehead, I mean, no offense, they said it in the movie, in the TV show, don't come at me, that is a giveaway for JB Smoove right there. This is the final challenge. My disappointment in the finale was, I think it was pretty clear that all 3 knew who everyone was. And so then it did just come down to the challenge. And then once the challenge was done, you knew who the winner was. And that was kind of disappointing. Also, I realized the challenge pretty much gave it away, but putting the actual celebrity on the challenge item, the Donnie Marie lunchbox.
They edited it, but yeah, not terribly well.
No, that's even too much of a giveaway. That here is a picture of the celebrity is going. I thought that was going a little too far. My wife pointed that out while she was watching.
Did you know that everybody was gonna come back for the finale?
I did not.
Did you
and
like that?
I expected a little more anger from the one who was eliminated in the first week.
I like how they re-embraced her, and then you're like, you're still a little off.
Yeah, I did not like that actually. Because they figured, some of them were able to figure things out. I would have rather these three had to go it alone than be able to get help from other people. I don't really see what that brought.
I like bringing them back, if for no other reason than the thing that I said I like about this show is that they all seem to have, like, even though they are competing against each other and lying to each other, and sometimes it gets a little heated, it's all very friendly and they all seem to enjoy each other for the most part. So having everyone come back as like a family reunion, I think is a nice touch. They did it in the first season and I liked it. They did structure it a little bit differently than that. But no, I like having everyone come back, even if, like you're saying, yeah, it does kind of, everyone's going to know who everyone is at the end. And it's really, there could still be a couple of wrinkles though, if, he could change his mind at the last second.
Yeah, if there'd have been some like gameplay earlier, such that when someone came back, their job was to try to throw off a different player or something, but there didn't really seem to be much of that going on. Let's see. Donna wishes that Chris would have won. Donny Osmond's son. Called it the second I saw him in the very first episode. Hey, that's Donny Osmond's relation. So, but yeah, the lunchbox, it was over for him. Rebecca noticed that when they were doing the picking for the final challenge, that the first one to get voted off very loudly was seemed to be the last one to get picked, which is kind of funny. Yeah. So I thought that the finale was just a little bit disappointing in that it had no, once the challenge was over, it had no, what's the word I want? Suspense. There we go. It had no suspense, unlike me trying to come up with that word. But yeah, the guy won that should have won. Played the game really well, really entertaining. I love the.
Didn't necessarily on that he knew that she would, like, you knew other people, and they're like, I'm not gonna say anything, and so when they showed the flashbacks of what they cut out, then you knew that he knew. But I guess I wasn't 100% convinced that he knew until going into it.
That's fair. I was pretty confident that everyone knew, but I understand that. The very, very end, like. The last thing was her sitting in the chair talking about how, she almost won, yada, yada, how they played the game differently. And then he came with the champagne and sat with her. And that moment just felt it's like the most real feeling moment in a reality show I've ever seen. And that was a great way to end this show.
That's they did something similar last season too, the final two, where they had the camaraderie the entire time. So it was like, yeah, not even mad. I'm glad you won. You did great. So I like that. The camaraderie of this show.
Two things that cracked me up. One, and this could just be my cynicism, I accept that. Multiple times people talking about how this is their chance to step out from the shadow of their more famous relative by starring in a show that they're only in because they're in the shadow of their more famous relative.
Yeah, but they do then people follow them on Instagram and stuff. Yes. Like Chris has music out. You can go listen to his music that you might not have known that someone named Chris Osmond existed before this. So, I agree with you. And I think Monet even said that. They're like, she said basically exactly what you're saying. Like, even though I'm only here because of him, I get to show
and it is a launching pad. It is different to say stepping out as opposed to, completely separating myself from, like, I got here without the help of my relative, which is not what they said. So, fair enough, but it still struck me. And the other thing is, Tom Hanks the only one that didn't record a message for his relative?
There was a couple. Jimmy Carter obviously didn't. And that was a new element this year. And so, yeah, at the end, Becca's like, wait, do you think they recorded 2 for each? I'm like, yeah. I was wondering about that the entire time because I didn't know if it would just be like a generic hi, but a lot of them like, oh, yeah, you guessed it. So that's why I figured they asked each celebrity to film 2 versions of their video message, which is pretty funny.
And I love that the last one we heard was Nick Cannon, who was the winner's celebrity, which the very last thing he said was, can I borrow some money? And that was quite funny. So that was claim to fame. I'm so glad you turned me on to this show. I checked it out this season. Can't wait for next now. Maybe we'll get two seasons next season if the strike continues.
Maybe. I read an interview with the producer who said that they, the first season was actually a little bit harder. People were kind of not sure about it, but then this season he's like, we could have cast for 2 seasons right then and there because we had so many. He said no green light yet, but hopefully, because I don't know. Like, I don't know if the way that they had to move it around the schedule is a bad thing. Like, if that means that they don't really care that much about it, or like, I feel like there's a community of people that really enjoy this show. I see, we saw Donny Osmond trending on Twitter while the show was airing because people were just dumbfounded at how people don't know this. So yeah, I hope it has a chance. I don't know what the actual ratings are, how much ratings really matter.
Real question for either you or the green room. If the actor strike is going on while they're developing this show, can the celebrity, assuming they're an actor, film a message?
It's a gray area because they're not supposed to promote things. It'd probably be bad.
Fanboys.
And it also might not be great for the people doing it because if they want to be an actor or something, then doing a reality show, even though I don't think it actually violates anything, except they're not supposed to talk about their work, like their movie, that it's struck work. So yeah, I don't know. It kind of has the same problem with Dancing with the Stars, but you're going to end up getting, The Bachelorette and whoever other reality stars this season, which is not that unlike other years. But
right, exactly. Dancing with Ben's head movement during that question was the definition of gray area. It's pretty funny. Anything else, Kyle, before we close it out?
I think that's it. Stay tuned to Laughing Place for all the news. We have the article on the Haunted Mansion thing, so I can put that into the chat for people to look at. But otherwise, we'll be back. Barely Necessities today at 4 p.m. Pacific. Disney Trivia Live at 7:30 Pacific.
That's it. Thanks for joining us.